Why is understanding institutional racism crucial today? Imagine living in a world where the rules are set up in a way that makes it harder for some people to succeed, even if they work just as hard as others. That's what institutional racism is all about. It's not just about individual acts of prejudice, but about how entire systems and policies are built in ways that keep certain groups at a disadvantage. Throughout history, Black Americans have faced laws and practices that kept them separated and limited their opportunities. From slavery to Jim Crow laws and segregation, these policies created barriers that still influence our society today. Movements like the Civil Rights Movement and the Black Power movement fought to change these unfair systems. They showed that racism isn't just about individual bias, but about the structures that uphold inequality. Even after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, many inequalities remained. For example, Black Americans often face higher unemployment rates, poorer housing options, and less access to quality health care and education. These issues are not just random, they are rooted in policies that have been in place for decades. Understanding this helps us see why efforts to fix racism need to go beyond changing individual attitudes. We need to change the rules and systems that keep these disparities in place. For instance, policies that lead to racial residential segregation or discriminatory lending practices are part of this larger picture. Recognizing these patterns helps us see how inequality is built into our institutions. Knowing about institutional racism also highlights the achievements of Black Americans who fought against these barriers. From leaders of the civil rights movement to activists today, their work shows how persistent resistance can challenge unfair systems. It reminds us that progress is possible when we understand where the real problems lie. This awareness guides us in making better policies. When we know how systemic barriers work, we can push for fairer laws on voting rights, housing, employment, and education. These changes can help create a society where everyone has a fair shot at success. Finally, understanding institutional racism empowers communities. It gives Black Americans and allies the tools to advocate for real change. It's about making sure that improvements aren't just surface level but lead to lasting social justice. In everyday life, this means recognizing that disparities in wages, access to health care, or quality education are not just happenstance. They are part of a pattern rooted in history and reinforced by current policies. Addressing these issues is essential if we want a fairer, more equal society. That's why understanding how these systems work today is so important for everyone committed to justice and progress.